If you want to get better at playing piano, you know that you have to practice playing piano. And, as silly as it sounds, the same thing applies to your Tai Chi. If you want to get better, you have to practice your Tai Chi. Now, better in terms of maybe not looking better, maybe it is a little bit, but in terms of actually gaining the benefits of Tai Chi and being able to understand how to apply those underlying principles so that your Tai Chi is better for you. And going back to the piano analogy, if you think about playing piano, it doesn't make sense to always play the piece that you're learning or that you're trying to get better at. Do that piece from beginning to end every single time. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make you better at it. Sometimes it's more important to take just a couple measures and practice those 2 measures or 3 or 4, whatever it is, taking a piece of that musical piece and practicing just that, and then putting it into the whole. And the whole becomes better because you've practiced that little section. So that's what we're going to do today with our form, is we're going to pluck the middle out and work on the ward-off sequence and the wave hands like clouds that come after it. First I want you to do, though, is just standing nice and tall, thinking about the principle of being suspended from the crown of your head and allowing your body just to fall naturally into alignment. Let your knees be nice and soft. Let your toes kind of spread out and feel the ground. And now imagine just a ball between your hands and see if you can just kind of play with that ball a little bit. If you feel a tingling, that's good. If you don't worry about it. Think about now, imagine your body being open and loose. There's no blockages. Let yourself be rounded. Think about even underneath your armpits, maybe put an egg underneath each armpit so that you're not all locked down like this. Let yourself be open and loose. That's why the knees are soft. It's like a soft, gentle highway through your body that the oxygen can flow, that your blood can flow, that the energy can flow. So this little ball of energy that we're playing with right now is part of your entire form. It's part of what Tai Chi does, is it helps open you up and let your energy flow through your body. So traditionally we're holding the ball to one side and holding the ball to the other side. Sometimes we hold the ball in the middle. But just think about now, let it kind of play. Let your hands feel each other without actually touching each other. Remember to let yourself be open and loose. And now come into your pushing chi. Bring in your left foot forward and pushing chi. Again, keep yourself open and loose. And now imagine that ball right here as you're doing your pushing chi. It's not a linear push. It's kind of a rounded, like water flowing up onto the beach and then rolling back into the ocean. Taking a nice deep breath in as you come towards your body and breathe out as you push away. Breathing in and breathing out. Now feel that substantial and insubstantial change. Your weight's back on your right foot, and then as you come forward, your weight's more on your left foot. Let yourself be rooted and grounded, lowering that center of gravity just a touch. Moving from the dantian, allowing your columns to stay intact. Shoulders are in harmony with your hips. Bring that left foot back and bring your right foot forward, pushing chi. Practice the breathing. Practice being open and loose, being rooted and grounded, keeping your shoulders in harmony with your hips. And one more, pushing chi. Now, if you think about it, your ward-off sequence starts with a hold the ball and it ends with pushing chi. But there's a whole lot more in the middle, and we're going to do ward-off a lot of times now, thinking about those principles. And the first time through, what I want you to think about is that ball of energy. You're gathering that ball here as you begin your ward-off. And then you make your ball small. It's still between your hands right here as you step out and ward off. And then grasp the bird's tail. Your ball is still there. Pulling that ball of energy back with your roll back, coming to your right hip. Then rotate and press. You're actually sealing the energy is what we call that. And then you come into your pushing chi. Now think about as you transition to the other side, you're actually gathering that ball of energy here and then making that ball small, step out, ward off, grasp the bird's tail, roll back, pulling that ball to your left hip now. Rotate and press, and then pushing chi. Now, without losing that idea of your ball of energy, what I want you to think about now is your movement, your rotation in that ward off is really guided by the dantian. 2 inches in from the belly button, 2 inches down. That's the center of your energy. You want to move from the dantian, which helps keep your shoulders in harmony with your hips. It helps you keep your columns intact. You're not leaning too forward. You're not reaching too far. If you lead from here, your body will naturally keep that open stance. So keeping that ball of energy, ward off. But now think about leading from here. Grasp the bird's tail. Roll back, pulling back from the dantian. Then let that dantian lead and the hands just follow. Pushing chi. Again, let that dantian lead as you open up, and then you rotate back, holding that ball to the left. Now stepping out, that rotation is started from the dantian. Grasp the bird's tail, roll back, rotate and press, pushing chi. Now feeling that ball, see if you can feel just a little bit more of that tingling between your hands. We're going to add the breathing to that ward-off sequence now. Not forgetting about this ball of energy, not forgetting about leading the motion from the dantian, but adding that breathing, letting that oxygen flow through the open highway. So taking a nice deep breath in here as you gather that energy, breathing out as you ward off, grasp the bird's tail, breathing in as you roll back, breathing out as you rotate and press, breathing in, coming towards your body, and breathing out as you push away. Then as you gather, you're breathing in, holding that ball, and then breathing out as you ward off, grasp the bird's tail, roll back, rotate and press, pushing chi. So now we're going to add the wave hands like clouds that follows that sequence in the form. And we're going to add the idea of our substantial and insubstantial changes. Which side of our body is full? Which side is empty? And this is very important to let that relaxation happen in your empty side. Your full side has control at this point. That empty side is relaxed. You want to feel that substantial and insubstantial change even in your ward off sequence. You're not moving forward, you're not moving backwards, but you are shifting your weight forward and back, just like we talked about with that pushing chi right at the beginning. So thinking about all that weight is on your right as you start your ward off. Gather that ball of energy, taking a nice deep breath in, and then as you ward off, that weight comes forward onto the left. Then rolling back, leading from the dantian, you're bringing that dantian over your right, over that base of support. Now you rotate and press, and that weight comes forward onto the left. Then the weight's back on the right, and the weight comes more onto the left. Then as you transition, your weight comes to the right, then to the left, taking a nice deep breath in here, stepping out. Feel that energy flow. Keep yourself open and rounded. And feel that substantial and insubstantial flow as well as you're changing your weight. Now remember, we're going to go on with our wave hands like clouds. So bring your weight to the left, bring it back to the right, forming a bird's beak, and single whip. Wave hands like clouds, keeping your body open, feeling that ball of energy right in front of you. Now the weight comes all the way onto that right. Let your left be empty. Now the weight comes to the left. That right is empty. Shifting that weight. One more. Feeling that substantial and insubstantial change. Single whip. Good. With wave hands like clouds, you're not only thinking about that substantial and insubstantial change, you're also thinking about that ball of energy in front of you. I'm going to turn towards the mirror here. As we pull that ball across our body, moving from the dantian, letting that rotation be led by the dantian, that allows our arms to relax, and we can feel that energy flow. Obviously, I'm not stepping right now with the wave hands like clouds, but if you think about all of that is happening, and if you want to coordinate your breath, you're breathing in, coming one direction, then breathing out as you rotate the other direction. Breathing in and breathing out. So let's do ward off into the wave hands like clouds again, thinking about that ball of energy, letting ourselves be open and loose, thinking about leading our motion from the dantian, coordinating our breathing with it, and actually feeling that substantial and insubstantial change as we flow through this sequence. So taking a nice deep breath in, ward off, grasp the bird's tail, roll back, rotate and press, pushing chi. Bringing your weight over to the right, back to the left, stepping out, ward off, grasp the bird's tail, roll back, rotate and press, pushing chi. Bringing your weight over to the left, back to the right, forming a bird's beak, and single whip. Wave hands like clouds. Feeling that substantial and insubstantial change. Pulling that ball of energy across. Keeping yourself open and rounded. Single whip. Good. Let's do that sequence again. Thinking of all of those pieces, but adding the very important piece of being rooted and grounded. Feeling that substantial, that energy from the ground, feeling that stability from the ground. You want to lower your center of gravity just a little bit by lowering that dantian. You don't need to hurt your knees. You know what your knees can handle. But try to see if you can keep yourself more stable by lowering your center of gravity just a touch. Taking a nice deep breath in, stepping out, ward off, feel the ground, grasp the bird's tail. Roll back, rotate and press, pushing chi. Bringing your weight over to the right, back to the left, stepping out, ward off, grasp the bird's tail, roll back, rotate and press, pushing chi. Bringing your weight over to the left, bringing it back to the right, forming that bird's beak and single whip. Wave hands like clouds. Keep that center of gravity low. Let your feet give your brain communication about the ground. And single whip. We're going to do that sequence one more time, putting that all together, allowing your body to relax and just flow like water, gently flowing. There's no start, no stop to that movement. All of your Tai Chi, all of your forms should feel like this sequence that just flows. There's no stopping, no sharp angles. Everything is open and rounded and flowing. Gathering that energy, stepping out, ward off, grasp the bird's tail, roll back, rotate and press, pushing chi. Bringing your weight over to the right, back to the left, stepping out, ward off, grasp the bird's tail, roll back, rotate and press, pushing chi. Bringing your weight over to the left, back to the right, forming a bird's beak, and single whip. Wave hands like clouds. One more step. Single whip. So you can see just in that little section of our form, we can really focus in on all of the underlying principles, allowing our body to relax, allowing our breath to be deep and long and slow and uniform, allowing hopefully our brain to focus in on those underlying principles just with those few little movements. And you can also see that it takes a much smaller space to do just that little section. So you're able to do this possibly maybe in your office. You don't have to have a big long space to do the entire form. You can practice and get benefits just in a small space and in a small amount of time as well. You don't always have to do the whole form. You can get the benefits by just doing a small section like this. Let your mind relax. Don't be anxious about, I have to do the whole form. Just do a little piece of it, and your body and your brain will benefit from that little practice. So let's